For 15 years, I was dad. Not stepdad, not Mark, just dad. In her heart, in her words, in the way she'd rush to me during a lightning storm or when she needed help with geometry. Emma was only 3 when I met her mother, Lisa. Her biological father, Ryan, had vanished a month before her birth. No note, no farewell, just gone. Lisa was barely holding on, working 2 jobs to keep Emma fed and clothed. When Lisa and I grew close, I knew I wasn't just building a relationship with her. I was stepping into the most significant role of my life, and I embraced it fully. I taught Emma how to pedal a bike, wobbling alongside her. I was there when she fell in 5th grade and refused the school nurse until Dad arrived. I stayed up late running lines for her school play, chauffeured her to soccer practice, held her hand at the dentist, and even learned to braid her hair, clumsily at first, but she didn't care. By age 11, she was proudly introducing me as her dad to her friends and teachers. No one blinked. I didn't need a blood tie to love her fiercely. She was my daughter in every way that counted. Then Ryan reappeared. Emma was 18, fresh off her high school graduation, where I'd given a speech that left everyone, including her, in tears. A week later, a message from the man who'd abandoned her before she could speak arrived on her phone. I was wary naturally. Lisa was furious. Where was he when she had bronchitis, when she cried before exams? She fumed. He thinks he can waltz back and claim her. But Emma was intrigued, and I got it. I told her to meet him carefully and said, if he's truly changed, I'll be glad for you both. What I didn't foresee was being erased. Within months, she stopped calling me dad. She started using Mark again as if I were a family friend. I didn't even get a birthday message that year. She shared photos with Ryan on social media, captioned, "Finally whole, my real dad, real dad." Those words stung like a slap. That first Christmas after Ryan's return, she skipped our family dinner to spend it with him and his new family, strangers she'd just met. Lisa tried to reason with her, begging her not to discard 15 years of love. But Emma had decided. It was as if I'd never existed. Lisa and I had split by then, but we stayed close. We'd talk for hours, often crying, starting with, "Did you see her latest post?" Lisa blamed herself, thinking her bitterness toward Ryan had skewed Emma's view. But I didn't fault Lisa. I knew how easily a young adult could chase a shiny new dream when reality felt too messy. 2 years passed. Silence. Then one evening my phone rang. Emma. I stared at her name for what felt like forever before answering. "Hey, Mark," she said, as if no time had passed, as if I hadn't mourned her absence every day for 730 days. She said Ryan had vanished again. No texts, no birthday call, no follow-through on a promised trip. Just gone. She wanted to reconnect, to fix things. I listened, let her talk. Then I spoke my truth. For 15 years, Emma, I showed up. Every scraped elbow, every bad dream, every milestone, you were my world. But when a stranger offered you something new, you let me go without a second thought. Now that he's left again, you're turning to me like I'm a fallback plan. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just done. She sobbed, saying she was sorry that she was young, lost, chasing a connection she thought she needed. I believed her sincerity, but belief didn't mean I was ready to let her back in. Lisa called me the next day. She'd heard from Emma too. To my surprise, she supported my stance. "I told her not to do it," Lisa said, "but she treated you like a stand-in. She can't undo that, and neither can I." We talked for hours that night about Emma, about what it meant to raise a child who wasn't biologically yours and still lose them, about the grief we buried, expecting she'd return and everything would click back into place. Lisa suggested therapy, not as a couple, she clarified, but as 2 people who'd lost a daughter we never expected to lose. So we went. We're still going every other Thursday, unpacking forgiveness, boundaries, and the reality that parenting doesn't always bring closure. Sometimes there's no no heartfelt reunion. Sometimes love leaves you with empty seats and fading memories. Emma still reaches out. I respond sometimes, polite but guarded. She asked if she could call me dad again, and I said, not yet. Because dad isn't just a title, it's a vow I never broke. Therapy was something I never thought I'd need. For years, I swallowed the pain. Every time I saw Emma's posts online, every moment I felt like a shadow in my own life. I thought moving on meant locking it away and acting fine. But in that quiet therapy room, with Lisa across from me and a counselor asking piercing questions, I realized the grief wasn't just about Emma. It was about who I became because of her and who I had to release to keep going. I still buy her favorite snacks, Lisa confessed in our 4th session, or start to text her about something random. Then I remember she's not that little girl anymore. She's someone I don't fully know. She looked at me, her voice trembling. I nodded. It was true, but our losses differed. Lisa lost a daughter who grew distant. I lost a daughter who stopped seeing me as her father. The therapist asked, "Do either of you hope to reconcile with Emma?" Lisa answered quickly, "Yes, but only if she's ready to face reality. No more real dad illusions, no more rewriting the past." I said, "I'd need her to own what she did, not just apologize, but truly grasp what it meant to discard someone who showed up for 15 years. We left that session quieter than usual. Lisa walked me to my car and paused. "She's been texting me asking if you'll ever forgive her." I sighed. "Forgiveness is one thing, but trust, that's something she'd have to rebuild, and it might take years." Weeks later, Emma sent a letter, handwritten 3 pages. She didn't ask for anything. She just laid it bare. She wrote about her guilt, the thrill of meeting her biological father, and the hope that she hadn't been abandoned after all. She described how his charm and promises made her feel seen in a way that was intoxicating. How she let that fantasy erase everything she'd known. She admitted she was ashamed of how she treated me, that she took my love for granted, assuming I'd always be there even as she pushed me away. When Ryan vanished again, no warning, no goodbye, she realized she'd not only lost him, but had already destroyed the bridge to the only father she'd ever truly had. She closed the letter with, "You were always my dad. I lost sight of that, and if I never earn your forgiveness, I understand why, but I'll keep trying." I wept after reading it for hours. I haven't replied not to punish her, but because I want my response to come from clarity, not raw emotion. Lisa and I discussed it in therapy. "She's making an effort," Lisa said gently, "but you don't owe her a second chance just because she's ready now." Our therapist nodded. "Forgiveness doesn't mean reopening old wounds. It can mean letting go peacefully without letting her back in." That's where I stand. Some days I miss her fiercely. I wonder what it would have been like if she'd let both Ryan and me into her life, realized love isn't a zero-sum game, that family isn't defined by DNA. But then I remember the silence, the missed birthdays, the empty place at Christmas, the way she called me Mark, like I was a temporary fixture in her story. Some wounds don't heal overnight. Lisa and I aren't a couple and never will be again. But we found a kind of solace in each other, a shared understanding, a tether through the pain. We both raised her, we both lost her, and now we're both healing one day at a time. Months later, I volunteered at a local school's father-daughter science fair, not as a parent, but as a mentor to a timid 9-year-old neighbor, Sophie. Her dad died years ago, and her mom asked if I'd help with her baking soda volcano. As I crouched beside Sophie, guiding her to pour the vinegar and watching her eyes light up as it erupted, something stirred in me, that warmth, that pride, that joy. It was still there. Maybe I'll never be dad to Emma again, but that part of me isn't gone. It's just waiting, ready for the right place to call home again. And maybe one day it will.